Target victim encounters with scammers. It didn't end like you would expect. Laugh as the scammer's time was wasted in these 3 stories. Story number 1. I met a guy online named Jason Biggs. He said he was in the U.S. Army and was currently on a special mission in Yemen. We had met through a mutual friend, a co-worker of mine who had been friends with him, and I was under the impression that she knew him because she had an affinity towards the military. Her profile had tons of troop support posts, American flag posts, and she knew a lot of real military guys in person. I guess I never questioned it or him, and I just made an assumption, which turned out to be very wrong. Jason sent me a friend request. After I accepted it, he began to message me right away. He said he was 32 and in Special Forces, a commander in the military. I at the time was 35. I had just gotten out of a nasty divorce, and in fact my coworker that I had friended on Facebook was one of the first people that I had met after my divorce. See, I had picked up and moved to Nashville from California after everything was said and done and my divorce was final. A fresh start of sorts, and she was one of my first friends. Jason told me he was a widow with a 4-year-old daughter. He said his wife died from breast cancer 2 years ago and left him with his daughter, who was named Mercy. He said his daughter stayed with his mother in California while he was deployed, but he would return soon and was hoping to meet a special someone online because it was hard for him to find a woman offline due to his military life and being deployed so much. When I asked him where in California he was from, as I had just moved from there and grew up in California, he said he was from California City. I had to laugh a little because it's a desert, desolate town. At least it was when I was there, and it's not a major city, but he acted like he didn't know anything, and always said it was such a busy, bustling town and he was wanting to move to the country. That was a red flag, but I chose to ignore it initially. We started chatting on Messenger, and he had asked if I had WhatsApp because he's not always on Facebook due to his work and being deployed. He said WhatsApp is free for soldiers to use. But now that I think about it, WhatsApp is free for everybody to use. But I added him on WhatsApp, and his number was a Los Angeles number, so I thought maybe he is legit. We started chatting on WhatsApp. I tried to video call him several times, and he became enraged with anger. He said he's on a secret mission in a secret location, and video chatting could get him killed. He used abusive language towards me and said if he gets killed, it'll be my fault for video chatting him, and his daughter will have to grow up with no family. I actually felt scolded and stopped talking to him for a while. He then came back and said he was under a lot of stress and he was very sorry that he yelled at me. I accepted his apology and we began talking more. He said he wanted to come visit me on his leave soon. I was open to meeting him. He sent me tons of videos of his daughter, a few of himself in what looked like a military vehicle. He said the videos were shot in secret while deployed in Yemen. He called me in the middle of the night once to say hello and to chat. He talked very quietly, and I noticed he had an accent. When I questioned him about it, he again became enraged and told me that I don't love him and I shouldn't question him. I was absolutely shocked at how he yelled at me and he hung up. He told me that I was abusive to him and I need to look at myself and how ugly I am, and I should be honored that a man as nice looking as him even talked to me. I don't know if he thought this would make me upset or cause me to apologize, but I laughed at him in a text message and told him I hope he stayed single forever, and then I blocked him. I had one abusive ex-husband. I didn't need another, especially a ghost online. I let my coworker know about how nasty her friend was, and that's when she confessed that she really didn't know him or had ever spoken to him. She just adds any military guys online that friend her because she loves the troops. She ended up blocking him as well. About 4 days later, I got a friend request on Facebook from him again, with a new fake profile, but it was him as it was the same stolen picture and same fake name, just a new profile. He kept saying he was sorry and under a lot of stress. I blocked him again. He tried to reach me on Facebook, and when I kept blocking his fake profiles, he would make another one, and then he tried on WhatsApp. Finally, he was able to send me a message request on WhatsApp with a new number, but the profile picture was not a military guy or roses like all the other ones. It was a photo of a young African man holding a beer. I blocked that one too. Lesson learned. I didn't lose any money, only a little bit of my time, maybe a bit of my heart, but in the end, I'm recovered and smarter. Story number 2. Fernando was his name, and I met him through an online gardening and nutritional group on Facebook. He had a profile picture of a man holding some oranges, and he messaged me saying he loved my profile photo and wanted to get to know me. I checked out his profile, and some of it was just some photos of this guy holding fruits and vegetables in nearly all the photos. I'm a health and fitness guru of sorts. I do personal training and nutritional orientations at clinics. So I'm a huge on healthy eating and keeping healthy. When he messaged me, he said my profile picture was beautiful and he wanted to get to know me. My profile picture was me taken at the gym in one of my classes. In fact, I had a personal training website address listed publicly on the About section of my Facebook profile. That's how I meet a lot of new clients. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he said he was from Miami. We struck up a chat about Miami and how I absolutely love the beach lifestyle, and I do go to Miami every summer for a nutritional expo. When I brought up a few things about Miami, like my favorite restaurants there and the convention center I would visit, he would just reply with, "That's nice, dear," and then tell me he was a widow, his wife died in a car crash, and he had a daughter named Abigail who is 10 years old. He asked me if I was married. I told him no, not interested in meeting anyone online. He then asked me how I can live without a man and I must be desperately lonely. I laughed and laughed, and I told him I'm much too busy with my career to sit around and wish and hope for a man. At this time, I'm just not looking for one. He was annoying me with his personal and persistent needing of a man. He hoped to find a wife, and he wishes and dreams of a woman like me, and let's give it a try. He then bombarded me with YouTube links to gushy love songs. I told him I despise love songs and he was annoying me. He asked for my phone number, and I told him I only chat online to strangers and I don't give out my personal phone number. He said fine, and wished me a good night. The next day I received a call on my work cell phone number, and it was this dip Fernando. He said he got my number from my Facebook page, and I realized my work number is on my Facebook intro. It's how I find clients to train. And I do have my personal work number on there. I told Fernando unless he's interested in personal training that it's inappropriate to call my phone and this is a work number. He said he couldn't stop thinking of me and he wanted to get to know me better. I told him, well, we can chat online. He asked if I have WhatsApp on this number, to which I told him no, and he can chat on Facebook with me if he wants to talk to me. I hung up with him and he instantly started blowing up my Facebook asking for my personal number. I ended up blocking his phone number on my work phone. I told him I'm busy at work. If you want to chat, then chat with me online after work. He said he would wait up for me, which I found strange as I get off work at 5 p.m. and if we're in the same time zone, it wouldn't be that late. When I got home, I messaged Fernando and told him we can chat now if he's free. He didn't answer, but finally replied to me at 3 a.m. in the morning and incessantly called my Facebook Messenger. I didn't answer as I turn off my notifications at night. I messaged him a few hours later and asked him if he is crazy for calling me at 3 in the morning. He said he had slept off when I had tried contacting him at 5 p.m. To me, the time didn't match up. Either way, we chatted briefly that morning on Facebook Messenger and Voice Messenger. I told him I have to leave for work soon, and he had a very, very thick accent. When I asked him where he's originally from, he said Colombia, South America, and currently lived in Miami. I know there's a ton of Colombians in Miami. I know tons of people from Colombia and other parts of South America, and that was not a Colombian accent. I told him he didn't sound Colombian as I have tons of friends from there. He said his mother was from Poland and his father from Germany, but they moved to Colombia for his father's work before he immigrated to Miami when he was 19. So he was supposed to be a German Polish Colombian. Okay. I told him I have to go and hung up. He wanted me to call him as soon as I got home that night. I told him I don't play that way and no man keeps tabs on me. We can have a chat when I'm online again, but I'm not owned by anyone. He replied to me, "All right, fine." That evening, he saw me on Facebook, in the group I was in, posting about a class that I'm having on Zoom in 2 weeks. He then messaged me that he would like to join the class. I told him that it is $90 for a 1-hour session. I was teaching a Zoom class on nutrition, found in various foods for energy, weight loss, etc. He then sent me a photo of himself holding a bunch of bananas, and he said he was an expert on health and he could join me in the class and teach people the right fruits to eat. He then sent me more photos of himself holding mangoes, oranges, apples, and various fruits. I told him I don't work with others and my classes are in a partnership with a paid promoter. I'm also a licensed nutritionalist. He asked me how much money I make doing these classes. I thought he was asking because he wanted to maybe do his own classes. I told him I average around $500 for each class. I host a class, but I only do them once or twice a month because I do work full time. He began asking about my job, how much money I make, when I get paid. And I found these questions very intrusive, and I ended our chat. And I went on about my business. A few days later, after not hearing from him, he told me that he'd been robbed and beaten and that he was home and had no money and his bank account had frozen. He asked me if he could borrow $1,000 as he was going to die without food. I knew it was a scam. He asked me to wire $1,000 via Bitcoin. When I told him no firmly, he became abusive and told me I was an ugly woman and I should be ashamed of my fat, ugly body. I'm a fitness coach and with a very nice body. He told me that he would tell everyone I was a scammer and my classes are fake. He said he would die. He needs $1,000 to buy food, or he would find me, show up at my house, and do some very disgusting and violent things with my body. I told him he should be eating all that fruit in his photos. He said the photos were taken a few moments ago when he had sent them. I said, well, then you should still have all that fruit in those photos you sent me and you can eat that. He told me off and I blocked him mid-chat. I later found out the photos were stolen from Dr. Fernando Pinto Gnomes, and many pictures are from the mid-2000s and are at least 10 years old. I never heard from the scammer again, and quite frankly, I don't want to. Story number 3. My story is short but stupid. The guy I met, calling himself Paul Harold, said he was 50 years old and originally from Germany, but was living in Los Angeles as an oil rig supervisor. He told me he runs oil rigs in Los Angeles, which there's no oil rigs in Los Angeles, but okay. He said my profile picture was beautiful, and he couldn't help but message me. My profile picture is of a prop plane that my husband built, and no, I'm not in the photo. He said he was a widow and his wife died in a gas explosion. He had a 10-year-old son named Michael, and that Michael was staying with a Nigerian nanny in Lagos while working on an oil rig project in the African Sea. When I asked him what port he was working from and where in Africa, he just said the Sea of Africa. Okay. He asked me if I'm married, to which I said yes, very happily, and he asked if we could be friends. I told him no because my husband's very jealous and would become angry and wouldn't like me talking to him. He told me to create another Facebook profile and give him the passwords to it and we could chat there in secret, and he could leave me messages. I told him I couldn't do that and my husband would find out, and I have no energy left to have an affair. He then rambled on about his likes, dislikes, favorite food, the normal garbage. He continued to ramble on, and I checked his photos and found out they were stolen from a popular Greek politician. I knew I had a scammer on my hands. I started talking to him about his son who's in Nigeria. He told me the oil company he works for has an old woman who watches all the children of oil rig workers in her home in Lagos. I asked him if she runs an illegal daycare, and he didn't know what I was talking about. He said his son is so lonely and he broke his phone so he can't keep in touch with his son and doesn't know if the old nanny is beating his son. His son needs a new iPhone to communicate, and he asked if I could just buy his son a new iPhone and mail it to the old nanny. I told him sure, why not? I have loads of iPhones, and he believed me. He became excited and told me to mail it DHL Express and gave me the address, name of the nanny, and phone number of the nanny so I can fill out the shipment form, and he told me to make sure the iPhone was the latest model and not a cheap or used one. His oil rig company required the children of the workers to have the newest iPhone. I told him I would mail it the new iPhone 11 Pro Max first thing in the morning. He was excited, saying, "Bless you, dearie, my son is your son, blah, blah, blah." I ran his phone number, or the so-called nanny's phone number, through Facebook, and the name, and found the old nanny, who turned out to be a 20-something-year-old woman who had a boyfriend who was in the Yahoo Boys Club online. She had posted about needing a new Facebook profile and had clients she needed to talk to. Clients meaning victims. I knew she was a scammer, but my fear is those who don't. I never heard from her again after I blocked the fake profile, and I also blocked her real profile just to be safe. We'd like to thank these people for sharing their stories. Sometimes these stories are quite funny, and the scammers don't always get what they set out to find. If you'd like to share your story, whether it be a funny one about an encounter with a scammer or something more serious, you can find us on Facebook under the page Scamming Scammers Action, or you can drop us an email, scammingscammers@gmail.com. We will verify your story and turn it into a video. Thanks for watching. Take care.